2020, a year of many unforeseen challenges, where all had to adjust to a new reality. And despite it all, Got Kush TV was and still is here to serve you. And what a year it's been. We began the repatriation journey with our new show, Voyage to Motherland. We dropped the knowledge as you took your seats in the Kush Communiversity and joined us to hold a meds with the Ankh Doctor. Got Kush TV invited you to get involved in conscious, controversial conversation and enter Decipher. And when the world went into lockdown, we kept you connected with the quarantine convos. We kept our finger on the pulse of the community with coverage of the Reparations Rebellion and the Black Pound Day all day up. Not to mention more wordsmith and a slew of new music video releases for your viewing pleasure and the official launch of the Got Kush TV website. We also brought you events including Women of Power and of course Blacktricity. Now, in 2021, Got Kush TV is continuing to level up the thing. First up, we are pleased to inform you that gotkushtv.com is open to exclusive memberships. Sign up to any of our membership tiers and you will gain access to playbacks from all our events and an ever-growing list of exclusive original content, including interviews, documentaries, and shows such as Kush Communiversity. To become an official member of gotkushtv.com, simply hit the membership tab. Stay tuned for continued updates. Then there's the new shows. Look out for more Decipher, Wordsmith, Hold a Meds with the Ankh Doctor, and weekly episodes of Quarantine Convos focused on health, wellness, education, and inspiration for our community. As always, the Got Kush TV film team is available for hire to cover all your events, adverts, infomercials, and all filming needs. Visit us at gotkushtv.com for hire inquiries and more information. Stand by all black businesses through our website, social media, and show content. We have monumental advertising, sponsorship, and network opportunities catering specially for you. Check out the advertising page on gotkushtv.com for more information. Got Kush TV is in full flight to join us for the ride. There's 4 things you can do. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell to make sure you don't miss a release. Join us on all social media and hit up gotkushtv.com to subscribe to our mailing list and sign up to become a Got Kush TV member for exclusive opportunities in the near future. Let us know you are feeling our content by hitting that ever so important button of approval. Comment. We want to hear your feedback on everything we are putting out. So make sure your presence is felt in the comment section. Share. Spread the word by hitting that share button and exposing your circle to the magnificence that is Got Kush TV. We are looking forward to building with you throughout 2021 and servicing you with high quality black media production. Got Kush TV, beyond discussion, beyond debate, we put the power in black media. Blacktricity, Got Kush TV's exclusive pre-Kwanzaa showcase is now available for you to watch absolutely free. In conjunction with Ghana, the On The Return series, we have brought the African diaspora experience directly to you. To watch this monumental event absolutely free, simply register for membership at gotkushtv.com and you will receive access to Blacktricity as well as more exclusive content, including Reggie Rockstone, Yusufu Jallo, VVN, Malaku Selassie, Daddy Makes Dough, Tods, King Wiz, Tubada, Ras Ashiba, Mama Sia, Brother Leader Bandaka, Israel, Sister Moots, Carla Marie, Yemaya Sankofa, Goldflow, and a special Voyage to Motherland panel discussion. All this and more, hosted by Nat Nye and Stella B. Register now at gotkushtv.com.
The Women of Power Summit, brought to you by Got Kush TV on Sunday the 6th of September 2020.
The Women of Power Summit, a monumental event dedicated to profiling the work of African women around the world, past, present and future, featuring Affiong El Affiong, Ronoku Rashidi, the Goddess Neith Knight, Tony Warner, Ari Ma'at and Celine Ekigwe. To watch the Women of Power Summit, simply register at gotkushtv.com for this and even more exclusive content. Got Kush TV, we put the power in black media.
Should more African nations join the Year of Utaya?
I would say every descendant of Africa should go home but the same things are happening. The tax money is still coming back to Europe.
How do we contribute to the decolonization of Africa?
So if Africa is our focus, are we then neglecting the Caribbean?
So yeah, we turned so successful, 1.9 billion. 1.9 billion. And all of a sudden, the whole world shut down.
Making sure that people on the continent see the real picture of how we live here.
Welcome from Ghana, Accra.
Enter Decipher.
Quarantine Convos. Enjoy weekly discussions with people from around the world, assisting us in dealing with this normal, mentally, spiritually, and physically. We feature nutritionists, psychologists, therapists, personal trainers, home educators, legal experts, and more, bringing you all the information and inspiration you need. Check out Quarantine Convos every Thursday from 7 p.m, live on Got Kush TV.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, family. Greetings, all. I am flying solo tonight. I know. Yeah. Our brother Shakara is not with us this evening, so we're sending out love and wishes to him because cannot be with us this week, but we expect him back next week, so we miss you. We have our technicals on board tonight, so love to the technicals. I will be talking to yourselves tonight with our author and special guest, Alima Faye, and she's an extraordinary, I have to say, I haven't met many young people like her, and she has an extraordinary character. The little that I've got to know about her through what I've read, through her book, and having a chance to meet her prior to the show. She's a lovely young lady, so you're going to look forward to having her on tonight. So everyone who's here already, like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to go onto the Kush website and make sure that you sign up for the mailing list on the Got Kush website. Okay, we've got a few things we want to talk about tonight. I want to check the chat. Let's just check the chat first. No one in the chat right now, but if you do want to come into the chat in a little while, by all means do so. Yeah. So we're going to have an important conversation tonight about a lot of things. Yeah, I will start with some things that we have to discuss this week that we have seen in the current affairs. Yeah, I don't think you can go this week without actually talking about this. So there's so much that's happened, and if you're communicating with us from abroad, shout out to you, but at the same time there's a lot going on over here. Yeah, so but I want to start off firstly, yeah, before we even get started. Now, they've given it some coverage in the news, yeah, so we give thanks for that, but there's a young man who is missing in our community, so I want us to flash that up. So I've asked the technicals to flash this up for me, for our young man, Richard Okoyoyi, and he have been missing since the 22nd of March. Yeah, so it's a big concern there. He has been missing. I know they are communicating on the news. If you see me go into my screen, just stay with me. But but I'll just read it out. He is 19 years old, and he has been missing since 8:40 on Monday, the 22nd of March, after telling his mum he was going to visit a friend. But none of his friends said they saw him that night. He was last seen walking on Kensal Road in the direction of Ladbroke Grove, Sainsbury's, wearing a black long-sleeve top, black tracksuit bottoms, and black trainers. He was also carrying a small Adidas bag and is 6 foot tall with a slim build. Richard has been shielding for the last 12 months. This is important, family, due to the sickle cell disease he suffers with, and would normally only leave the house to go to the hospital for regular blood transfusions. His mum is incredibly worried and says that the police haven't been helpful. I saw a post this week, and it was from the mum and a post went round, and the post said that they had actually said to her, if you can't find him, neither can we. Yeah, so that's why we're putting it out tonight as well, because, you know, the more people that see this, the more chance we have of finding him. We don't know where he is. He was last seen now, I think, in Forest Gate. So please keep your eyes peeled. There's a number there, 07735 084 081. So contact that number if you have seen him, and you know, be sensitive to the family's needs. Okay, all right, so let me move on a little bit, and we really do have a few things to talk about tonight. Some people will know, yeah. I don't even have any words for this young person. Yeah, this young person, everybody must have heard by now about these Satan blood trainers. Yeah, 1 drop of blood trainers that they've got. Little, what's his name? What a boy name? Little Nas X. Yeah. Now, first of all, my man. Yeah, leave the big man's name alone. Yeah, that's a big man's name for you. Yeah, just hold your corner and just do your thing. Yeah, that's a big people's name for you. Yeah, we're talking about, you know, using breaks from Houdini and Friends. Yeah, that's big people's things. Yeah, leave the name. Yeah, but we have to address this because this is what our children are having to, you know, engage in and getting caught up in. And unfortunately, this young man, he's, you know, wherever he is, and, you know, hopefully he's pulled back at some point from where he's at, but right now the boy is in too deep with a pair of trainers, 666 pairs of these trainers, supposed to have a drop of human blood inside of its air bubble. Yeah, we're all discussing where that blood came from. And we also, you know, the thing about these trainers, they're £1,000, they're $1,018, and everybody knows that 3 6s, yeah, is, you know, is 18. So yeah, I'm not impressed about that, but I thought I'd mention it. And, you know, I know that my children are, you know, they listen to the radio and all these kinds of things every now and again, and now I just, you know, I had to express it to my middle one and just say, listen, you lot are on a radio ban for the foreseeable future. Okay, so so that's the conversation at home at the moment. I do have to address this. I do. I didn't want to. Yeah, and I was hoping that I could just hold my statement from last week and feel sorry for the brother. But unfortunately, yeah, it's come out since last time I spoke to yourselves about our dear friend Derek Jackson. Not just one lady, but 2 and 3 other ladies are coming forward. It's a sweet mess. The whole thing is a sweet mess. Yeah, and I bring him up as well because, you know, my grandmother was there. Yeah, she would say, once a mistake, twice is on purpose, 3 times is a habit. Yeah, so I don't know what to say about that boy. But what I do know is, if I just take the humor out of it for a moment, what you do get to see is, if that was a friend of mine or friend of my circle, what would I be thinking and what would I be doing about that? Yeah, I mean, yes, I would be looking at them sideways. I cannot lie. Yeah, I would. But at the same time, I would also be looking at the fact that, you know what, that's a major fall from grace, and it's not getting any better. The circumstances are, you know, unpacked in a way that it's a sweet mess. Yeah, his wife is engaged in the thing. Poor, you know, everybody's hounding the sister. You know what I mean? She had nothing to do with it. You shouldn't really brought it into the conversation, but he did. And, you know, there's all these kinds of things. So, but I'm also concerned about his mental health. Actually, I'm actually concerned that yes, people are saying that there's maybe a personality disorder there. There's quite a strong possibility of that. But people also, you know, aren't saying that, you know, actually, you know, what does that look like if you have that, you know, you have that status and then it's ripped out from under you. Yeah, and you see that with celebrities a lot, and he's no different. He's just a different type of celebrity, but he's still celebrity. Yeah, and you know, I don't know what he's grounded in, but whatever he is grounded in, this ain't it. Yeah, so I am concerned about his mental well-being, and I don't know if he's even going to recover from it anytime soon, really, to be fair. So hopefully he's got some good folks around him, and, you know, all is well for him. Yeah, so, you know, I do want to just say that because, yeah, this is difficult times that we're in as it is. Yeah, and it looked like my man started to move towards the church in February last year, which makes sense in terms of the times that we're in. So, you know, and if we go back to what I remember hearing Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. say in one of his instas, you know, we choose those kinds of things, whether it's consciousness or religion even, through inspiration, aspiration, and desperation. So yeah, I just have to leave that one there, and hopefully he gets some support. Now I can't ignore this conversation. I think it leads in really well and ties in really well with the lady we're going to have tonight as well, because everybody who's is watching this unravel, and this is this institutional racism report, a 264-page document that the government have found some experts of some kind to let us all know that they are not racist, and that, you know, it isn't past-based racism either. We don't have to worry about that, apparently. And that, on top of it, just to add insult to injury, that we should, you know, other countries should model their model. Yeah, well, yeah, enough said about that. Yeah, it's an insult, and I don't want to get into it too heavy right now, because I'm still annoyed about the thing. Yeah, now let's move on to tonight. Yeah, and I just want to check the chat. Now you might see me on this little device here every now and again, just checking the chat for you guys. Yeah, so if there's anyone in there, cool, and if there's not, don't worry. Yeah, I'll shout out to Salman Creative, yeah, and James O, and we've got Kamani Kochagavi, greetings, and greetings. Jason Planter, greetings. Thank you. Greetings, Sister, and the Gotkush family. Thank you so much. All right, so stay engaged, family, in our conversation tonight. Now, I will warn you, it's a big people conversation. Yeah, and you know, it's not going to be necessarily light and fluffy. Yes, we've had a little fluffy conversation now, but to be fair, this is a serious topic. And what I love about the conversation we're going to have tonight, we're dealing with young people and mental health. Often we talk about adults, and we don't really talk about young people's mental health. In fact, we try to you know, avoid it at you know, as best as we can a lot of the time. And we have to be talking about mental health because obviously here we are doing the quarantine convos, and you know, it wouldn't make sense to be doing this kind of thing and not touching on a subject like that. That's my concern, you know, about, you know, these are the times we're in. And yes, 1 minute we're in lockdown, 1 minute not, when we are, it's some, you know, yo-yo business. And whatever this yo-yo business is about, we need to stay mentally in tune. Okay, so I want you to encourage you to, you know, join in the conversation, you know, like, share, subscribe, and join in the chat. Okay, so, and now I want to just start. I want to start the evening as I do, with a proverb. Yeah, and I think this proverb is important because it really does it really shines a light on what the sister is about to uncover this evening. Yeah, and the proverb goes: if you wish to move mountains tomorrow, you must start by lifting stones today. Yeah. And why I chose that is because the work that she's doing, and let me give you a little synopsis of this young lady. She's quite something. I'll just read it to you. Yeah. And again, trigger warning. Okay. In this episode, yeah, we'll be speaking to the young lady, Miss Alima Faye, yeah, about her recent book. Now, I had the luxury of going to our online, it was the first time I went to an online book launch, yeah, and she smashed it. Yeah, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, this is the book. It came from the book launch, and it was fantastic. I loved it. I loved everything about it. You know, how it was set up. It was fantastic, brilliant, and I was really impressed with what she'd created, and so I reached out to her, and here she is tonight. So I want just to let you know, this is her book. It's recently released, and it's called Black Mental Health in Focus, a photographic exploration of young Black men. It depicts the mental health journeys of young Black men. Alima Faye understands that from the age of 7, Black men are inclined to face prejudice, a prejudgment from their colleagues, peers, and the educators at school, therefore prematurely labeled as disruptive. This sets the tone for random stop and searches by police due to racial profiling, which cements society's harmful attitudes and responses towards them. This perpetuates feelings of anxiety, which when doing the simplest of activities like walking down the street. By allowing young Black men to voice their views and opinions means you are validating their existence. It is a known fact that young males, male suicide rates are higher in men. By allowing Black men to express their fears and frustrations with the world, especially when faced with institutional racism, we can give them a safe space to define what their passions are. Okay, she's a lovely woman, and I want to introduce her right now. Alima Faye, please come through.
Hi, hello.
Greetings, sis. I hope I did you justice there. I'm so sorry, I'm doing it. I'm doing it hands-free.
I'm highly flattered, so it's all right. You're doing well.
Multitasking here, mama. So listen, it's fantastic that you've come on. I'm so pleased to have you here, and I'm so proud to have you here because we had a conversation previous to coming on tonight. And I got to understand a little bit about you and, your new mom. Congratulations. If you haven't checked out her, we'll give you her details a bit later on. Alima Faye's details. You can check her out on Instagram. But she's got a lovely birth story and that she shares. Beautiful. I did try to not be sidetracked as a doula. I was like, stay focused. It's a birth story. Stay focused. And so yeah, it's a lovely one, lovely story, and really well put together as well. So she's got a lovely blog, so go check it out. But I wanted to speak to you about this book that you've done, and I think it's a really courageous move to take on a book like this, and I suppose as a young woman as well, as I suppose people want to kind of know, why would you take on a book like this? I know the times that we're in, but also, why you? What do you think the reason for you and the importance of you doing it?
Well, it's funny. I never looked at the project as something to be courageous. For me, it was just more. I've got a concern for my Black men. I've got a love and adoration for Black men, of course, as a Black woman. My dad's Black, my brothers are Black, my family members are Black. And for me, growing up and seeing how mental health affects the Black man, and the fact that Black men do not feel that they can share or express how they feel, it's so problematic to me. Just simply putting it, I understand and I see how it has a great impact on the family, the home, themselves, first and foremost, really and truly. And I felt like I need to do something. I want to do something rather to try and change this, to change the narrative, to change the story. I've got a baby boy. So for me, it's very important that he grows up knowing and understanding that it's okay to be vulnerable, to express how you feel. It's okay to not have the strength to handle everything. So yeah, I just wanted to start, not necessarily start a change, but let's say start a change around me. and my immediate family first and foremost.
So you're kind of like it's also it's a piece of work that is a kind of legacy then with inside of your circle and your family, something that you can heal your family with and start at the discussion, if you like, there. You know, I think that's a really I think it's a great way to create discussion. How do your family feel about the book that you've put together?
Well, they've said that they're really proud of me and the work that I've created. I don't know if it's coming from a little bit of a biased place.
They love you. What can they say? I love her.
But yeah, they've all just said it's very powerful, and just very thankful that I've come out openly and started to express my want and need for our Black men to speak up and to be open about what they're going through and how they're feeling. Yeah.
And would you say then that it's opened up? Do you think since you've written this book or created this piece of work, do you feel that it has opened up more conversations around young people's mental health? Or help to assist even, do you think?
That's a good question. Hopefully, I do hope so.
Well, let's something to explore. I think maybe it's a case of, I mean, we can talk about solutions, right? You know, we'll speak about it a bit later and stuff like that, but we can certainly, let's brainstorm now. And let's create the next project, you know, let's do it. Go, girl. Yeah, so, you know, at the end of the day, I think that's really important. I think, you know, this is a great piece. And what I loved about it is that you deliberately made a piece that was easy and digestible. You talk about how you put it together, so maybe share with people how you created it, because it's not easy to get young people to speak about mental health, and that's what you managed to do. So go ahead.
So yeah, as you said, I just wanted it to be really easy to process, to digest. I put up posters around my university campus, just saying that I wanted some Black models to model for this project surrounding Black mental health. And surprisingly, I got a good few people, males, reached out to me saying that they are interested in the project. Got them into the studio. I got them to play some music that they were comfortable with, you know, creating a nice, comfortable environment for them. And then just wanted to just talk to them and understand their own mental health journey. A lot of them were more aware of their mental health than others. And that was okay, because obviously I understand we're all on different journeys, we've got different paths. So yeah, and then I edited the pictures, tried to make them as soft as possible, again to contrast the idea that Black men are aggressive and violent. And then took some of the interview text that I got from shooting and put it into the book. And yeah.
And there you are.
It felt really natural to me. It kind of flowed. It just, yeah.
So when you say when you set this up, you talked about how they're aware of their mental health, and you often don't. You hear about young people talking about their mental health, but you don't always hear about young Black people talking about their mental health often. Yeah. You know, you really have to kind of like catch it in the wind if they're speaking about it. You know, like you really have to. Okay, they're talking about it. Let's hope. Right. Yeah, it's like that, right? And so, you know, it's interesting. You know, I have 3 sons, and obviously different times that we're in, and the times that we're in with this, you know, quarantine situation for so many different people around the world in different places. One minute you're locked in, one you're not. And I think it's important that, you know, we are dealing with the mental health of society right now. Yeah. It is taking its toll on people right now in many, many, many ways. And so we know, we're already aware of the different things that have happened in the lockdown, whether it's domestic abuse, domestic violence that's gone up in like 25%. But we also know that mental health is increasing. Yeah, they call it COVID related experiences, and they've got all these different names for, okay, well, you can't really sleep very well. You know, most people are talking about not sleeping very well since the lockdown, every day feeling like the same. Yeah. So yeah, and it's breaking up the day, and, you know, like, really, because, you know, breaking it up. So I'm interests me in terms of when you say young people were aware, some people were aware of their mental health, some weren't. Explain what you mean by that.
Well,
what kinds of things do young people share?
Yeah, just for context rather.
Sure.
I did all my shooting. It was before COVID, which was, I'm super grateful for that, because had it been after, I would have got no images. So that was great. So in answering your question, sorry, what was your question again?
So the question is, what were they aware of? What did they get from, and what awareness? You said some of them are aware, some of them are not. And so we want to kind of engage in, okay, well, you know, what do when the young black boys, black men are speaking about mental health, what do they speak about? How can we support them?
So for myself, I know that understanding that a lot of them are not going to be aware of their mental well-being. I couldn't just come out and say to them, how is your mental health? Because then it will just be like, it's fine, it's cool, it's, you know. So I tried to kind of talk about things that could possibly affect that. For example, childhood, how they feel that society treats them or deals with them. And then with those answers, it kind of gave me an understanding of where they are and how they also deal with where they may be down, or some even depressed. So yeah, I think it's understanding, because as you said, you can't just come out and just try to have a conversation to young black men about mental health. Like, you've got to really, really put, like, string together.
You've got to create the environment for it to occur.
That too. Yeah, exactly. Because they're very difficult to penetrate. I think.
Of course. And of course, you talk about it in your book. You talk about, if we talk about, you have a lovely section in here about the misrepresentation of the black man. You know, explain that. So this is all my uni work. My final major project that was based on black mental health. So I looked into the misrepresentation of the black man, where it's come from, why it is that black men or black people are considered to be aggressive, violent, lazy, criminals, entertainers, sports people. Like, where's that come from? And it's not even surprisingly anymore. The more and more, like, I'm on social media, I'm seeing all these stories on different things that are linked to slavery. For example, as simple as the ice cream man, the Van song, back to slavery. What else is there? Explain that for anybody who's listening when you say that. People wouldn't know that.
There's a song that is commonly used by the ice cream man. Do you know the song? I can't remember.
There's so many.
There are so many, but there is one that is I believe it's about slaves or enslaved.
Right. And that's good to know. I think that's important. Most people wouldn't know that. I mean, that's insightful. Even I'm learning today. And
there's literally so many things. As even you know, that the syrup, the pancake syrup that they use in America.
Maple syrup, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Look at me.
Isn't it called maple syrup? Is it
No, it's Aunt Jemima.
I don't know about these syrups in this.
Aunt Jemima? You aware of Aunt Jemima?
Okay. Yeah. The black minstrels and things like that, of course, absolutely. Right. Big up the chat. Thank you for all of you who's in there right now. I think there are so many subtle nuances. That's why this report
Exactly.
it's just so it's
Exactly.
I've got no words, and I've got a lot of words, but I've got no words right now. I need to process that. Before I just need to process that, just take a little sacred silence on that, because it's so damning. And it's the original gaslighting.
Right.
It's like totally dismiss anything to do with, take themselves out of it. We're nothing to do with us, nothing to see here, folks. It's absolutely outrageous. So, your book and the conversations you're having, certainly don't represent what we're doing, that kind of conversation. People are feeling it. And, as a mother to Black sons, I often have to, I'm very focused on their emotional well-being. I'm a home educator now, and I've been doing that since September. And one of my main reasons for doing that actually was for their mental health, because I could already see, they always enjoyed school. To be fair, I've always wanted to homeschool. But however, I always thought, okay, well, there was different dynamics as a doula. It was just not, it was tricky. It was not easy to do and be consistent with. However, things have shifted, and there's, the opportunity to do it in a better way now. So, and so with that, I work with my children, and I noticed that, I knew that they were going to have to go in and out of lockdown. Like, I knew the schools were going to close again before. And I was like, listen, I cannot do that to you.
100%.
And I remember, I think the decider actually was for me, was a parent, again, trigger warning, a parent of a 7-year-old child had said that her son had been, he wasn't a Black child, but her son had been self-harming because he wasn't at school, and he was 7. So my thing is, okay, you know what? If you're 7 years old and the schools don't have the capacity to take care of every individual, then these children are experiencing mental health issues in their lockdown environment, that we don't know about. And then coming into school back together with no real pastoral care, because the teachers are snowed under with this every change that's coming. It's a melting pot of disaster. Psychologists are having a field day right now. It's it's going to be big business, major business after this. And I don't want my children in an environment where a yo-yo effect, 1 minute school's there, I don't want that for you. I want you to have the stability, and if it means being at home educated, cool, let's do it. As long as you're stable, we're good. And I think the times we're in now, I have a 21-year-old. So for him, he was in his first year of uni when the lockdown started, right? So he never really, so that whole thing about, whether we'll have actually a lockdown, whether the student should be paying that amount of fees and these kinds of things else, that conversation that's happening amongst students right now, because, they're not getting the experience. But it's difficult, traveling, not traveling, bubble, not bubble, who rules, being able to identify and have your identity, especially as a Black male in an environment, and he's not in London either. In an environment like that, I have to watch out for those things as well. So I completely get, so this is why this interests me. When I had literally seen it, just came into an inbox, and I was like, oh, okay, let me see this. And it was really powerful to see your book, your work on young people alone. What do you think we can learn from young people around mental health that we don't learn from older people, do you think?
What can we learn from young people that we don't learn from older people? Well,
you are, I would say, I don't like to say my age, but you're probably about half my age. You actually are. So at the same time, what can we learn from you? Young people are having conversations about mental health in different ways to us. Our older people are having conversations like, okay, the mental health is already there. It's that a lot of people who have mental health are already experiencing being having a clinical condition then, or being maybe being institutionalized. Those are the conversations they've already if you like, into the mental health experience, whereas young people's mental health is so fragile because they're, it's such a changeable society, the instant gratification, the need for appreciation, that the different things that we didn't have to grow up with, the pressure. I don't think we would even cope, really. I mean, we laugh about the young people and how they behave with social media, but actually we wouldn't have been able to cope with the, just bang, here you are, go for it. Like we wouldn't have, without any kind of boundaries or the support that some of us as parents do, but some parents don't do that. So you're amongst that. And I really want to know what we can learn, from young people your age about mental health. And it may be male, it may be female.
I've been trying to, I think I might need some time to really get into that, but I think first and foremost, being open and listening. It might seem really simple and easy, but I think a lot of young people would also agree and say that a lot of the older generation, as you said, like would laugh at how we live our lives. I say we. I wouldn't necessarily put myself. I mean, okay, no, I would. I am a part of the, yeah.
You like the odd selfie. It's okay. It's okay.
I do. Right. I do. Yeah. It's okay. And I do like. I'm being honest. I do feel good when I get high likes on a picture or a post on Instagram.
You're young.
It is what it is. But yeah, just being open and understanding that we're a different generation. It's not our fault that we have grown up in times that are so fickle, that are so quick and fast paced, and it's not. This is just what we know now. So try to understand us. Try to come down to our level in terms of experience and knowledge. Of course, we're not as, and that's okay because we'll get there. But try to understand us and want to learn from us, because there is so much that can be learned from us in regards to our generation, of course, and what is going on in our lives now. Yeah,
maybe it's just thank you for that, and I think that's important wisdom as a young person. A lot of the time we can be judgmental. Maybe we laugh about the whole thing with you young people, and you got the little Lars X excitement, and only a young person can do something like that. Yeah. But at the same time, it's such a. I remember in like my early 20s and how sensitive a time, you're so sensitive, you're so kind of hypersensitive at an age, those kinds of ages, depending on what what's the influences around you. Yeah. So you have to be mindful. And this is it's like having the formative years, 0 to 7 being the formative years. It's like having another series of formative years, especially when you hit 18. And I think young people also struggle. I don't know, you can tell me what you think, but there's not that transition into adulthood, enough of it. Yeah. I mean, you just hit 18 and your parents said, well, you've got this conflict, you're an adult, but you're still my child. You understand what I'm saying? And that is and it's difficult. I know, because I'm that parent. I know you're 21, but I don't care. I'm your mother. So I think it's difficult sometimes for us to get it right, or to make sure that we support them in the way that they need as well. I think, I don't think I'm alone in that. I think, I do a decent job, and unfortunately, we keep the communications going where we can. But again, the times that we're in right now means that people are more apart. Yeah, that's the time we are. So people are having more time to think and more time to process what's going on for them. But also, it's difficult what to process. I mean, young people your age are just starting their life really right now. Like, this is it. this is the time. Like, you know, I always talk to young people about the years, the party years are kind of your 20s, your 30s is the money years, you know, the 40s is like, okay, season in your thing. You understand what I mean? I look at it like, I've always kind of looked at it like that. Yeah. And the young people are getting a different deal. Yeah. Right now with the lockdown and situations. And so I wonder if it's crystallizing, you know, whatever they were feeling before, how it's magnifying, I should say, with the circumstances that we're in. And I wonder whether, you know, what we can do as adults, like you say, we can think about it and listen more to what they have to say, and I suppose less judgmental. You know, we were young, like, never forget we were young too, you know. Exactly. So I think those things are important. I do have a question around, you know, you talked a little bit about family and your young people. Do you see there's a difference in how it's communicated amongst young people and adults?
Family. Definitely. I think even touching on what you said in regards to, you know, our 20s being party years and so on. At the moment, the way I see on like Twitter, for example, everyone's trying to make money now. And of course, no one's saying do not, but the focus is very much, I need to get my life in order right now. By the time I'm 25, if I don't have my house, and then I'm failing. And to me, I'm 23, and as you mentioned, I've just recently had a baby. If I get wrapped up in that understanding that the mindset, I would think myself into depression, honestly, because it's not going to happen for me. It's just, I mean, I'm not speaking against myself, but realistically, it's just not how that's going to go. And that's okay with me, because my 20s is for learning about myself and making mistakes and learning from the mistakes. Of course, as with a baby, not so many mistakes. I've got to be a little bit more, you know, careful.
Responsible, sure.
Right. But yeah, and like even growing up in the church as well, I grew up in the church. I find that a lot of us are kind of pressured to find our spouse and get married immediately. And then with that, there's just all the pressure to get yourself into a relationship. And then what ends up happening is you get into a relationship with the wrong person, and you're heartbroken and you can't sleep and you're crying when you're meant to be enjoying your life and having fun and going out. And yeah, it's very difficult. I think it's super difficult, and I'm obviously not going to put down any other generation, but the way that we're growing up now, you really have to be strong-minded to withstand it all, really and truly.
And when you say withstand it all, you're going to go see who wants to come into the conversation. I'm just going to read some of the chat. Who have we got in the chat right now? We've got Yoel Adamas, basic structure of how people react. Your technicals, if you're in the technical team over there, you can put some of the conversations in the chat if you like. A very important point for us to take time and understand that young people are being raised in a different culture. Technology plays a huge part in how young people view themselves. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Are adults or just large children and another game they are blind to? We are going to open up the space for you to come in if you want to come in. So the link will be put in the chat very shortly. But yes, I just think, you know, what you have to say, I think it saddens me. It gives me sort of a heavy heart almost, what you have to say, what you have to do. No, I'm an empath, so, you know, it's going to be like that. But at the same time, no, but I know what it's like. I know having sons, and you're a mother to a son. And I remember how I had to grow up immediately when I became a mother, much less having a son. It's like, okay, it's on. Like, you know, some women, can kind of get away with it and stuff like that. But with your son, it's like they're looking directly at you. There is an awareness that they have that's different. A girl is going to want to be like mommy, right? But a little boy is going to be watching you in a different way, from a different angle. Yeah.
Right.
So I always say to mums in my field, I always say, seek to become the type of woman that you want your sons to look at and say, okay, you know what? That's the example. That's the model. Yeah.
Exactly.
And if you have daughters, be the kind of woman that you want your child daughter to be. Yeah. You don't want to end up with, all this Cardi meeting and all this kind of WAP excitement and all that. You understand? But again, these are the pressures that we went under these kinds of pressures, and we could pick, choose and refuse our pressures in a very different way. We could say, when girls were moving like that, we'd be like, certain of us would be like, no, that's not for me. That's them, or that's how they move or how they were raised. We clocked that quite early, but because it's part of the dynamics now, you can feel almost isolated for not fitting in, or if you're not, like you're saying, you have to be very, very strong, to be engaged in this kind of time that you're in. I don't think, as much as you have you've got a lot at your disposal when you're in the information age and visual age, and I think it's fantastic, and and that means it's heightened the generation's intelligence at a level that
100%.
ours wasn't increased at that speed. There's no way. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, it was not increased at that speed. Yeah, not like that. I mean, even if you were conscious, you still read the books, but now you can go to this immediately as well as your books. You understand what I'm saying? So I know that we can never really understand what that was like, and we can never understand how, my son was 15 when I gave him his smartphone, and he was the last in his class to get one. Yeah. I was like, no. But he was the last to get it. And I knew it would make a difference to him and and even down to, you have to really manage their personality. Yeah. You have to really manage, even just that exposure, you have to be managing it. It's a whole other job to do it in. Right. So, I appreciate what you have to say. And I hope that, our listeners today and who are watching today really grasp something from that. And if you've got young people in your lives, take heed, take notes of what this young lady, Alima Faye, has to say, because we have to bridge this gap. And this conversation is about bridging the gap between us. I can't be looking at you like, okay, you guys have this and we have that. We can't, not when we've got these, institutional racism reports. Yeah. These are the times when we have to even, connect and have conversations more with young people. Yeah. So I'm going to check the chat right now. And you can join the conversation if you want to join the conversation. Let me know if you want to join the conversation. Just put it inside of the chat. I've got a message from JMan270. Bless up Queens. And what do we have here? We have I am Nikara. Yes, as young people, we need to show the elder generation that they can depend upon us through our actions. We need to learn how to communicate these things and remember that even adults need help. We got Salman Creative. I think culture in the way our parents grew from, the way we grew and growing now is almost a gap in understanding between generations to build a solid foundation. I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I think we've got to get to a point now where we stop judging each other. Yeah, our faults, your faults, our faults. We've got, we're all flawed. Yeah, let's just deal with it. Yeah, and it's at the end of the day, it's like, oh, how do we bridge that gap? And I think these conversations are really important, and so thank you so much for having these conversations. So if anyone wants to come in, do let me know. If you want to wait inside the backstage there, you can come in on the conversation. I think it's an important conversation to have. And I think we need to, I happily invite you lot to come in and join the conversation and bridge the gap with me. Yeah, because we're bridging the gap tonight. Yeah, so let's do that. Do you think that religion has negatively affected our youth? Okay. That's a difficult one. Well, you come from a religious background, right? Yeah. So you could probably answer this question in the way that you do. I'm not necessarily a religious person, right? Okay. But everything has its place and its order. Yeah, it's not my choice; it's your choice. But there's also yeah, you can leave the question. Please leave the question up on there, please. Please. I think that's a very difficult conversation at times for young people. I think there's a lot of trying to find what's true, what's not true. Right. If it's not just about going to your maker and communicating with your creator, the Most High, then it's also about the book in itself. And I think that's a difficult. I would say, if you're asking me that question, Jeris Lottrell, I would say I've actually seen some young people. I'm not religious, but I've actually, before lockdown, I saw a lot of young people. A lot of young people are getting into church, yeah, and a lot of young people are doing a lot of trap kind of gospel and things like that. And I think that's kind of great that they're bringing that space. I remember when I was in church and as a child, yeah, they weren't doing that. They were not doing that. It was, it wasn't even clap hands enough where I was going. You understand what I'm saying? So it has completely changed. And I think that in itself has its place. And and I would ask you though, on the back of that question there though, if you don't feel it's has, I don't know if you feel it has or hasn't. Do you feel it has or it hasn't?
Are you asking me or?
Yeah, I'm asking you before we move on.
Yeah. Well, I was actually thinking about this the other day. I think religion may have had or may have a negative effect on our youth. When I say religion, I literally mean the man-made and like what man has done with it. I'm not going to go into religions as such. Of course, me growing up in the church, I would consider myself to be a Christian. But yeah, I think how man has used it has definitely negatively affected youth. I think religion is used to push agendas. I think a lot of people hide behind religion, not able to actually do what is actually needed. When it comes to Christianity, for example, there's this expectation of, making sure everything is perfect, and you have on the outfit to wear to church, and everything is looking great, but really and truly you go home and it's not that. But you have to uphold this expectation. So I think I definitely understand how religion can negatively affect our youth and even people in general. Yeah, I'm definitely not talking about relationship with, as you said, our maker. That's a whole nother thing. For me, the two are very separate. Right. They do coincide, but yeah.
Okay. So I want to kind of take it back to your book now. You've got some fabulous images. I mean, I have some favorites here, and I have my favorites actually. And I was saying this to the sister. She has we talk about the misrepresentation of the Black man.
Right.
And you said for this, you talk about the Macpherson. Yeah, I'll just read a little bit from your book. It says, 20 years after Sir William Macpherson led the public inquiry into Stephen Lawrence's murder, a young Black British teenager from Plumstead, South East London, who was murdered in a racially motivated attack while waiting for a bus in Well Hall, Eltham in 1993. Yeah, his final report, published in February 1999, stated the police who responded to the teenager's killing was institutionally racist. Macpherson, 1999, for this reason, a number of young Black men you interviewed, feared the racism experienced and witnessed from the police and the justice system. And this really touched me. I felt like I wanted to cry when I read this, actually. They felt alone, isolated, emasculated, and even guilty for wearing their skin.
Mm.
So maybe, explain that, maybe go into that a little bit about, how, what brought you to that conversation, and how did you get to that point, knowing that as well? What did you observe? What did you
I
pick
feel
up?
like we all, like, it's literally seen everywhere.
Mhm.
I feel like it's actually become normal.
Mhm.
Like we're so desensitized to
Mhm.
like feeling guilty for wearing our own skin color. There's jokes about, driving. Is it driving while black? I got
Yes,
stopped
I've
for
heard that.
DWD.
It's quite a new one. Yes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
Um,
ridiculous to the point where it's just so upsetting. Literally, because of our skin color, we are committing a crime. We could be doing anything. I can't even. What's his name again? The young man that got murdered last year for going for a jog in a white neighborhood. For going for a jog.
It's all over the place. It's everywhere you look, and I think
Everywhere.
it's rife. I mean, it's so difficult where you are young women with black young men. You will have different. I mean, we have different concerns and fears for our black men and our black sons, but the young people that you're with at this age, your ages, these are prime years for yourselves, and also very vulnerable years. They're vulnerable years to engage police, conversations with police that can happen in these ages, knife crime and such, and it's really quite difficult to withstand. I had to stop listening to the radio and things like that, because at different times, I mean, it was like, it was every day was a stabbing. It was like, and I'm just like, okay, I cannot, I've got to have these kinds of, how am I going to have these conversations with my children? So I think it's really, I know it's everywhere, and if I could speak on behalf of all the adults, I'd say I'm so sorry that it's everywhere as well. Yeah, I'm really, really sorry. Yeah, because we never had to grow up like that. We never had to grow up scared, knife crime scared. Even though there was always police situations, the times we're in now, and county lines and all these kinds of things, there's 1,000 different ways black boys can go missing.
Right.
Yeah, which just wasn't there in the same way before. I don't believe anyway. So, I wanted to talk about your you've got some lovely images, and maybe just wanna you've got a great image of a stool there, right? You've got lovely explain. I don't know if anybody can see that. Just take and it says, "It is what it is."
Right.
So yeah, maybe explain that.
Okay, it is what it is. A lot of the time, having conversations with young black men, you'll find a lot of their answers end up being, it is what it is. They've just accepted that this is what life is. This is just the way it is. You're walking down the street, someone crosses the road because you're wearing a hood, so you must be dangerous. It is what it is. Getting picked on it's not even air quotes, getting picked on and singled out in the classroom because you're black by the teacher. It is what it is. So I thought I want to add that into the book, because I hear it so often, and it's so frustrating that a lot of them have just come to accept that this is just the way life is. And of course, to a certain extent, and I was thinking about this during the protests last year for George Floyd, and thinking like, what can we actually do to stop this, to end racism? And I think I don't know if it came to the point in my mind where it was just like, I don't know if if that will end up happening. I don't know if I will see that in my lifetime. So a part of me is, it's really sad, but I do accept, or not accept, I do understand the whole "it is what it is" saying.
Right.
And then for the stool, it may look a bit random, but I wanted it to symbolize no one being in the image, no one being there, because black men may feel like they've got no one to listen to them, no one on their side when it comes to their mental well-being. Of course they have black women and everyone with them, but that doesn't dispute how they feel. So yeah, that's what the story is meant to represent. Just
right. No, I mean, I know, I'm glad you, it's great to hear explanation for it, because you've got quite a few pieces. And you've got, sometimes being black means you should hold back your tears and have constant fears. And this is the image there you have there. And I think that, I suppose that's self-explanatory in itself, that, sometimes, and we as our community, we often have to do that. We often have to, suck it up.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, again, we're not necessarily taught, it's not innate for us to express ourselves about our vulnerability. That's just not our way. Yeah. Unless we feel really comfortable and safe.
Right.
Yeah. And it's difficult to feel safe in a country which is, in denial.
Exactly.
Please, explain this one. I won't spoil it for everybody, but can you see this one? Is it there? Hold on, let me just, that's the one.
Should I read it?
Yeah, please. By all means.
So I did want to highlight the love that black women have for
black
men, our black brothers.
Absolutely. This is a lovely piece, actually. This one's lovely.
Thank you. So it simply says, our mothers, grandmothers, wives, aunts, sisters, daughters, we rely on the strength of our women to support us, nurture us, and motivate us to be the men they need us to be. And then, I don't know if you...
Yeah, right. The
hand, yes.
Is that your hand?
It's not my hand, no.
But it's the hand of our support.
Right. It's very evidently a woman's hand. Yes.
We rely on the strength of our women to support us, nurture us, and motivate us to be the men they need us to be. Yeah, that's beautiful. I really love that.
Thank you.
It says, Jerris Lottle says, if black men listened to our queens before anyone else, then we would realize that we are warriors and not barbarians. I have no comment, but at the same, I think that's really, it's sad. He also says it's sad, but also comforting that you two queens include us in your conversations and thoughts. It shows me that you are truly with us in this struggle. Thank you. We are with you too. I share. We give thanks. Thank you. You're going to make me cry. I'll say things like that right now. I'm emotional. It's an emotional book. Honestly, it's, what I love about this book is because you wrote it with that in mind, that young people are not really going to spend time reading, right? You kind of like, when we had that conversation, it was like, okay, but they will take the time to maybe see this. And I think it's just one for everybody's kind of bookshelf, especially the times we're in. It's a really, really important read. And I think, it's also a great conversation starter with your young people. Because I can imagine me when my children get older and there's different tensions and different stresses, I don't have to give them a really dense, heavy book to read. I could just ask them to talk about this image and then just leave it in the space and ask them what they think. It's a great space and a great piece like this one here. Section 60, Criminal Justice and Public Order Act, 1994. Oh, this one touches me. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get it in short. There, beautiful and powerful. I mean, it's very powerful, especially when you look at the way in which young people are growing with so much insecurity right now as well. Explain that piece. Maybe explain that piece a little bit more.
Okay, so the section 60, that is the stop and search.
Yes.
Can't remember order, I guess.
I'm on page 42.
Here we go. I got it. Found it. Yeah. Stop and search. I know I don't need to say a lot in regards to that, but
stop and search is very real.
I think I saw a statistic today. I think it said, I can't remember the year, but 6 in 1,000 white men or white males are stopped, whereas 54 in 1,000 black men are stopped and searched. It's just right. And then we're not institutionally racist.
Right. I hear that. Yeah. That's another day. You've got a lovely, a really interesting piece here, and it's dated because your book comes in 2 parts. It's got a part comes in sort of a part 1, part 2. Explain why it kind of comes in a part 1, part 2. It's like a part 2 section. Why do you break it up as you do? And then we'll go into some more.
Well, really and truly, I did part 1 for my second year at university, and then for my third year, I decided to make a full book, and I created new images to add into it. So I just felt like they've kind of got a different aesthetic, just more on the photography side of things. It's got a different aesthetic, so I wanted to keep part 1 separate to part 2.
Okay.
Yeah, just on the photography basis.
Oh, okay. I thought there was that. I was looking for
not here, not for this one.
It was just photographic. It was all right. It was just like how it went. It's fine. But you go into your part 2 section. It talks about it's dated. It has a date on it, interestingly enough, which says the 15th of August 2019, and it says why. It's hard every day. You find on social media yet another video of police brutality against our people. It angers me. Why? Why are we the targets? It is our is it our structure, the way we look, our evident strength, the fact that we are able to withstand the unjust perception the world has towards us? Why is it we can't do the simplest of activities without being penalized for the color of our skin? George Floyd, we're hearing about the court case only now, yeah. Yes, get Alima Alima Faye's book here. You can indeed. At Alima Faye, at limafv.uk. And it says, why is it we can't do the simplest of activities without being penalized for the color of our skin? George Floyd, Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, it's heartbreaking and infuriating. How do I raise children in a world that is automatically set up to be against them from the moment they step out of my dome of protection? How do I justify the fact that they will have to work twice as hard to even compete with their white counterparts to succeed? Either way, my soul aching brothers and sisters, we will rise. We have to. Yeah. And on. So I thought that was it's really touching, that piece, you know, and it's very I mean, what's really powerful about your book here is that it's got a timelessness about it. You could read it in 10 years' time and I'm not sure how much it would have changed. Do you see what I mean? And and we'll still be talking about George Floyd in 10 years' time. No chance, no doubt. Definitely. Yeah. So I think what your book does capture, it really does capture the now. It captures what we're dealing with now, but it could have been easily 20 years ago. You know, when we look at what was happening with our elders, when we're talking about the, New Crossfire and those kinds of times, in the 80s, and now here we are in the times that we're in right now. You have a lovely piece here. I won't read it out, so you can read it out, but you want to explain this one. This is a lovely piece. I don't know if you can see that. See that? Wait a minute. I got it. Have I got it? Ish. Ish. You might do better at your end. I don't want to bend the book, really.
No, don't bend it. Don't bend it.
Exactly. There it is. Can you see that well?
Yes.
So, and that's page 73.
Okay, lovely.
It's all right. We're having a book club here.
Okay. Right. So this one says they either ignore us when we need help or overdose us when we don't.
Explain that, please.
Talks about mental health or mental illness, rather. You find a lot of Black men are medicated,
right?
When they seek professional help, when they eventually seek professional help, or if they are sectioned, they're medicated. That's the first result.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. I can't remember who I was speaking to, but they were saying that it's super important, and we should start thinking about setting up mental institutions, so that we are caring for our
facilitating and caring for our own.
Right. In the way that
We've
we know.
We've got an acknowledgement here from a Mr. Tago, and that is thank you, Elima, for such a document. So your work is timely, really timely and powerful. I think it's really, really important. I think you've really touched on something inside this space. I think you really brought it to our attention, and we can hide from it, we can deflect from it all we want. It's always, it's all well and good to do all the fluffy and nice stuff, and it's great. I love all that stuff too. But at the same time, these are serious times that we're in, and and like you're saying, when they're medicating our young people, what can we do? What facility do we have? What structural support can we give them? How can we intercept that, and interfere with that situation so that our children and our young people don't go down that road? I mean, I remember back in the days, and young guys I used to hang out with and stuff like that, and the stories of some of the brothers that I knew from when I was in my 20s, it's they're still dealing with stuff, still dealing with things from 20 years ago.
Right.
And where's our support? And there are structures, don't get me wrong, there are our psychologists out there. We have to push and fight to find them, but they're definitely there in our community. I think what you're saying is what, in terms of like solutions, and we can go to that now, in terms of like what you think the solutions are around that. And I do think that, and I think this is a call out to all the adults in the space, the big people there, because a lot of our adults, elders, work in the care system, a lot of us, and there's no reason why we should not pool our resources together in some form or fashion. So I think that would be something to start thinking about. I think we should have I think there should be something set up, and maybe there's a space. I can think of a space that you can actually have a conversation with some elders about already, actually, who may well be able to support you with that. Or I think and these are elders older than myself, 10, 20 years my senior, but they are the elders who are even older than myself are talking about this right now. They're talking about all of it. No stone unturned with some of our elders right now. They're voicing themselves. We might not be hearing them, but if you're around them, and I think it's really, really important to address this, especially when you talk about, you know, medicating our young people and medicating our young people. Also, just it comes out of things like ADHD and how they want to, you know, that's another area that's, you know, they're going to be pumping into. What are they going to do? What's going to happen with the impact of this situation we're in right now? We've got a message here. It says, just checked out the page. It's so powerful to see you as the Black woman writing such a great piece to support the Black man, thus the melanin household. Big up, queen. Yeah, and that is from I am Nakara. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, that's what I said. She was an extraordinary young lady. I didn't sort of, I was trying to, you know, I wasn't trying to pretend here. Yeah. I mean, I mean, you might not think it's courageous because it's just like something that you're putting into your life because, you know, like you said, you've seen it in your own family and things like that. Maybe. So you may say, well, okay, you know what? It's quite a personal thing. But I think what you may, and I would say, don't underestimate the power of what you're out here doing. Really. Don't play small, girl. Yeah. Time to shine now. Yeah. This is it. So you've got here we go. We got that Black community here in the States are finally focusing on mental health for us, by us. It's making the difference as we are rising. That's Jairus Lottrell. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I think the States are having some big conversations. They are, you know, they are. They're into it. They're into having those conversations. I think we're much more reserved. And that's why we like to talk about the, you know, the unspoken on this channel here. So let's speak about it. So let's talk about solutions now as we kind of wrap up the show as well. Like we've talked about, you know, maybe putting something in place in our community as talking about an institution, but something to facilitate. I think we have to think about this thing in a holistic way. We have to get to the source. We have to unpack it. Yeah, I think there's always more to it. Often mental health comes out of a particular trauma. Most of the traumas, usually, when you start to look at the source of it, it will often take place. It may take place before, but generally, it often takes place in the teens, and then doesn't get kind of observed, doesn't get noticed because they're dealing with school, they're dealing with so many other things on top of it that gets missed, and then they're 20, and then it's just what I'm saying, and then it's like. And then being an adult and the responsibility of that. And like universe is saying, you know, be an adult and be a child at the same time. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, I remember when my son was in sixth form, but he's 18, but he's in sixth form. So it's kind of like, you know, you're still in school, you're still wearing a uniform to school, you know, a semi-uniform, you know, and you're an adult at the same time. So these kinds of things, you know, like when they in schools they do pastoral care. We need our pastoral care, we need our support structures, you know, to lift and carry our young people through. We can't dismiss them just because, you know, they've got some technology that we don't understand and we're still trying to learn. Okay. Right, family? Not good enough. So I just want, you know, I really want to look at, I mean, there might be, before we close, there might be other things that you wanted to speak about. So if there's anything else you want to kind of discuss before we close, is there anything else that you'd like to mention about, you know, how about your book, maybe what's next as well, or what you're up to? Is there, you know, I know you've got the blogs and things, but is there any other project that you see coming from this?
Definitely. As you mentioned, I have recently started a journey into motherhood blog. I think we're on, blog 5 now. And I'm kind of laying the foundation on being honest about life and experiences. I feel like I got a really rude awakening becoming a mum. Of course, everyone tells you that it's not easy and it's, you know, there's going to be challenging times, but you don't really know until you get into it. And I just felt like I just wanted to be open. I think with just how life is now, especially with my book, and understanding that with mental health, you have to be open and be willing to have conversation to help other people and to also help yourself. So yeah, I've started a blog to lay the foundation for my next project. I am looking to focus on Black motherhood / Black women. Not 100% sure yet, but yeah, we'll be getting into that. So you can check that out on my website, alimafv.uk, where you can also purchase my book. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, your mum blog is fantastic. It's lovely. It is. I don't actually go around reading many blogs, actually, mum blogs as it goes. Yeah, even though I'm a doula, and I don't engage in everything. And and it was quite captivating. The way you wrote your birth story was quite captivating. I was like, oh, look at this, so detailed. And I always encourage mums to write down their birth story. Yeah, like if you can write it down, get it while it's fresh. And it seemed, and I felt I was completely there with you in the room.
Yeah.
I was like, I got this. I see. Yeah, you did. At 16 minutes, girl. You go, girl.
Woo.
You go, girl. You're good, girl.
Woo.
Yeah. Still got it, Mama. Still got it.
Okay. Thank you.
But how old's your little one? How old is the little babe?
He's 3 months. He's going to be 4 months in 2 weeks.
Fantastic. How awesome. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, so look, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. I know that, there are some solutions that we can start thinking about. I think we do. I think what we've learned today is we definitely have to listen to our young people. If we weren't trying to listen before, cut it out. Yeah, cut it out. Yeah, they need us and we need them. It's like what you put in, you're going to get back, That's what we do. Sometimes we're trying to fight our young people. We've got to understand that what you invest, you get back. We've got to look. As I tell my sons, listen, you all are carrying me up to the bathroom when I'm old. And you're bringing your wives with you. I've got my pension plan, baby girl. I'm good. I got my carers.
You're good. You're good.
I told them, I said, so listen, why don't you carry me to the toilet? What are you? Whoever you are, whichever one's the strongest. They've already worked it out. One of them said, yeah, I'll carry you. And this one tells me he's going to make juice. And the other one is the money one, the one who's going to throw the money at you for the carer. He's not going to be touching. I'm not. He's not doing that. Yeah, but he'll throw the money at you. So I already know the setup already. I'm just like, I can still walk, so I'm good. But I think it's very important. I think we have to, enjoy our young people whilst they're here. You know what I mean? They're going through a lot. I think we have to listen to them. All joke aside, we have to listen to them. Yeah. If we weren't listening before, we have to take it seriously. Their concerns. What I'd love to see is a space for, and maybe it's something we can talk about creating that space sometime, obviously these lockdown times, but it might be a case of, creating an event online. Yeah. Where, young Black men and young Black women, can speak about their mental health. Yeah. No judgment. It's no judgment. I mean, just speak about what it's like. What can we do? How can we help? Yeah. Because we can't just, ostracize them, make them feel small, belittle them, dismiss them. And, their lives are falling apart. And then that trauma of dismissing them gets passed down to their children. We decide that it stops out here. You understand what I'm saying? So it's got to stop with us, and it stops with us by addressing it. If we're not going to address it, you better believe your grandchildren are going to be in problems. Definitely. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just speaking to parents anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that's something to a conversation to have as well. I think what you said about, what we need as a community in terms of facilitating that, it's not in someone else's hands. That's a definite conversation that we have to have, because sometimes we speak to our people who work in mental health and they are so clinical themselves. Yeah, that we have to also look at, okay, if we took the time to find out what it is, what's the trigger. Mental health can be stabilized with the right guidance and the right support. And often we just, we bypass those things, or sometimes parents can't cope, or adults can't cope with their young adults. And then these young adults are sectioned in some way or form. You understand what I'm saying? But when you start pulling it apart, a lot of these young people experience some kind of trauma, maybe sometimes something inside of the family even, things happen. Yeah, let's not pretend that people don't have situations sometimes. And they just don't get addressed. And people, I often think that a lot of mental health, a lot of it comes from denial. Yeah, a lot of it comes from even let's say you've got a young person who's experiencing that sensitivity, a vulnerable time, and a parent's denial is a dangerous game.
Right.
Yeah, dangerous game as a parent, just to dismiss it. Yeah, and be like, well, we have to. Yes, you might initially, maybe as a parent, it's almost like I don't want to have to deal with it, maybe, but then you have to look at the seriousness of it. Okay, is this part of your child's character? What do they normally say is what, start, take yourself out of it for a minute as a parent, not just, okay, I just don't want to know, because these young people are going to have your grandchildren. You see, or you don't stop investing in them just because they're 18. Yeah, you keep investing in them because they're raising, another generation. So I think we do need to do more to care for our young people, and I wonder going forward what that looks like. So we can certainly have some conversations and some speculation about that. But I appreciate you coming on this evening. Thank you so much for your time. And again, family, you can get the book Black Mental Health in Focus, a photographic exploration of young Black men, by our guest Alima Faye. Hold it up, girl. Hold it up now. That's right.
Paperback and the hardback copy.
That's right. You do indeed. Yes, you do. Yes. So pick up the book at her site, Alima fv.uk. If you technicals, yes, please. I love my technical team. and just check her out. Her book is an amazing and important book to have on our shelves. If you're serious about young people and caring about them, and you don't even know how to start the conversation, perfect book to start. Don't you think it's perfect? I mean, I know you're going to be biased.
Well, I'm not sure.
I think it is. I mean, I wouldn't know, maybe no. I mean, yes, I can say yes, I do know, but this would make it easier for me. Let me tell you that. If one of my children came to me, this is going to make it easier. I tell you now. So, this is an important read for, to have in your shelf. Yeah. And it's, it's great in its design. I love the images. I love how soft it is. It's not aggressive. It's soft and vulnerable. And I think it's in time for our brothers to be able to allow themselves to be vulnerable. Yeah, I think it's your time, to do that. And, feel safe. Yeah, because we need you, you need us. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I will no doubt stay in contact with you by our Instas. And so can you just tell us where we can contact you again?
So you can contact me on Instagram via DM at Alima Faye, LinkedIn, Alima Faye. You can contact me through my website that's been flashing up several times. And yeah, I think an email, alimasmith@hotmail.com if you do want. You can find that. So.
Excellent. Yeah, that's Alima fv.uk. Yeah, that's her website. You can check out her mum blog, which is a fantastic story. If you've never read a mum blog, that's the one to read. It's fantastic. No, it is. I can't lie. I've come across a few, but that's brilliant. And so I was really pleased to see that. And check out her book. Purchase her book. Her book is an important one for all of us to have on our shelves if we're serious about supporting young people. So, sis, give thanks for coming on today. We appreciate you. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me again.
All right. Look after yourself. All right, family. Thank you so much for a fantastic show. I hope you got lots from it. I hope there's lots of jewels for you. There certainly were lots of jewels for me. I'm so glad I bought the book, and speaking to her has really allowed me to really understand the depth of the book and why it's not just, okay, it's a nice book with some nice images in it. It's actually a great talking point. And anybody who's working with young people, purchase this book. Yeah, because this is an important read and really, again, discussion point and an excellent way for our young people to start thinking if they weren't thinking about it before, or they may have someone, especially if they're in their like late teens and things like that as well, early 20s. I think that's it's a really strong images that young people would be able to identify with, and even if they don't, they can recognize someone inside of their family or friendship circle who they could even identify with. And I think we need to start talking about this more. I know it's great to have all these lovely conversations, and we do, and we enjoy ourselves, but these are conversations that we have to have. All right, so I thank you so much for that. All right, so remember to check out Alima Faye on her Insta. That's Alima Faye, at Alima Faye, and her website, alimafv.uk. Okay, so I would love to let you know, though, before we leave this evening, what we have next week. We have, and we look forward to having our brother Shakara back with us next week, because next week is going to be fun too. So I hope he's back on. Look after yourself, make sure you stay fighting fit, and we'll be ready for you next week, bro. And but Holistically Hilarious, our sister Holistically Hilarious, she's from the States, and she is coming on. She is going to be speaking to us about, she's a laughologist. She's talking about laughter, the healing power of laughter. She has a fantastic Instagram. You can check her out in advance. She is so funny. I remember getting her post some time ago. By all means, technical support, if you've got her image up there, please pop it up for me. And she was, I saw a message from her. Somebody popped it in a chat about a year ago, maybe, and it was just so funny. I was in stitches. Yeah, so I know she's gonna make you laugh. Check out her stuff. She is not conventional. She's not for the faint-hearted. She's straight talk, no chaser. Yeah, be ready. Yeah, she's a funny lady. Funny lady. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes sometimes watching her of a night time, she is the funniest thing. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy her. I look forward to seeing her next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, I want to just shout out to anyone in the comments before I leave. Yeah, thank you for being here this evening, everyone. Yeah, I appreciate you. Big thanks to sisters. That's Salman Creative. We've got Rise Up System for excellent reasoning guidance. I'll give thanks. Kamani Kulcha, thank you so much. We've got Jason Planter, thank you, Sister Wood, and Elima for the reasoning. It's a blessing when we think and act in one accord. Absolutely, I give thanks for that. Yeah, it was a touching subject. I mean, it touches my heart. Yeah, because I'm a mother to 3 sons. I can't ignore a conversation like this. I'd be fool to ignore it. And anybody who's got children, yeah, we need to be serious about these kinds of conversations. We don't want it showing up in our lives. We need to get to it beforehand. So by all means, don't forget to buy the book. If you definitely got young people in your life, you do want to have this book. The images are great to discuss. If you're finding it difficult to speak to your young people, that's a good book to have. Okay, so remember I said that. Yeah, and we had said it here, right here. I've got Kush. All right, so look, like, share, and subscribe. Remember, you can go and join the mailing list on the Got Kush TV channel, Got Kush TV website, and we shall see you next week with Holistically Hilarious, and we shall see Shakara next week as well. Yes, and so. Don't forget, if you ain't got nothing, if you ain't got Kush.
Blacktricity. Got Kush TV's exclusive pre-Kwanzaa showcase is now available for you to watch absolutely free. In conjunction with Ghana, the On the Return series, we have brought the African diaspora experience directly to you. To watch this monumental event absolutely free, simply register for membership at gotkushtv.com and you will receive access to Blacktricity as well as more exclusive content, including Reggie Rockstone, Yusufu Jallo, VVN, Malachi Selassie, Daddy Makes Dough, Tods, King Wiz, Tubada, Ras Ashiba, Mama Sia, Brother Leader Bandaka, Israel, Sister Moots, Carla Marie, Yemaya Sankofa, Goldflow, and a special Voyage to Motherland panel discussion. All this and more, hosted by Nat Nye and Stella B. Register now at gotkushtv.com. 2020, a year of many unforeseen challenges, where all had to adjust to a new reality. And despite it all, Got Kush TV was and still is here to serve you. And what a year it's been. We began the repatriation journey with our new show, Voyage to Motherland. We dropped the knowledge as you took your seats in the Kush Community and joined us to hold a meds with the Ankh Doctor. Got Kush TV invited you to get involved in controversial conversation and enter Decipher. And when the world went into lockdown, we kept you connected with the quarantine convos. We kept our finger on the pulse of the community with coverage of the Reparations Rebellion and the Black Pound Day All Day Up. Not to mention more wordsmith and a slew of new music video releases for your viewing pleasure and the official launch of the Got Kush TV website. We also brought you events including Women of Power and of course Blacktricity. Now, in 2021, Got Kush TV is continuing to level up the thing. First up, we are pleased to inform you that gotkushtv.com is open to exclusive memberships. Sign up to any of our membership tiers and you will gain access to playbacks from all our events and an ever-growing list of exclusive original content, including interviews, documentaries, and shows such as Kush Community. To become an official member of gotkushtv.com, simply hit the membership tab. Stay tuned for continued updates. Then there's the new shows. Look out for more Decipher, Wordsmith, Hold a Meds with the Ankh Doctor, and weekly episodes of Quarantine Convos focused on health, wellness, education, and inspiration for our community. As always, the Got Kush TV film team is available for hire to cover all your events, adverts, infomercials, and all filming needs. Visit us at gotkushtv.com for higher inquiries and more information. Stand by all black businesses through our website, social media, and show content. We have monumental advertising, sponsorship, and network opportunities catering specially for you. Check out the advertising page on gotkushtv.com for more information. Got Kush TV is in full flight to join us for the ride. There's 4 things you can do. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell to make sure you don't miss a release. Join us on all social media and hit up gotkushtv.com to subscribe to our mailing list and sign up to become a Got Kush TV member for exclusive opportunities in the near future. Let us know you are feeling our content by hitting that ever so important button of approval. Comment. We want to hear your feedback on everything we are putting out. So make sure your presence is felt in the comment section. Share. Spread the word by hitting that share button and exposing your circle to the magnificence that is Got Kush TV. We are looking forward to building with you throughout 2021 and servicing you with high quality black media production. Got Kush TV, beyond discussion, beyond debate, we put the power in black media.
Quarantine Convos. Enjoy weekly discussions with people from around the world assisting us in dealing with this normal, mentally, spiritually, and physically. We feature nutritionists, psychologists, therapists, personal trainers, home educators, legal experts, and more, bringing you all the information and inspiration you need. Check out Quarantine Convos every Thursday from 7 p.m. live on Got Kush TV.